Peace to all the human families of the planet Earth. I am your host, Aseer the Duke of Tears, along with my co-host, Selena, the Empress of 10,000 Years, my brother, Saga Assad, all of you, human families of the planet Earth, welcome again to Super Heru Radio. Inshallah, we broadcasting live and clear out into the universe. All of the ancestors that are out there, please come in and hold us down while we take it to the level that we know we need to. Anybody who lost any ancestors or relatives since the last time we spoke, our deepest condolences to you. And just know, inshallah, they're in a better place. And so know that you and they have now become your ancestors and your communal family on the other side that's doing whatever they could do to hold you down over here. Because God knows they're in a better place. And even if they not, at least they ain't got to deal with all of the craziness that comes with being or existing in a physical reality for the time that we are to do it. Yet, this third density so-called reality is actually the most coveted reality of all of the so-called higher dimensions, just due to the fact that we actually can, just due to the fact that there is something that is imperfect. And that imperfectness in it is, wow. And the imperfectness is the fact that we exist in a potential of limitless and almost unlimited possibility. Therefore, we should be thankful the fact that this is one of the best times for us that any of us can actually be alive, because we may be one of the few generations to see a change. If you think about it, all of the time that we've existed in now, think about all of the crazy hyperdimensional and astrological events that have happened that you and I have lived through in the past 6 months. You know what I mean? The last one being the Great Black Moon Rising that put so much emphasis on the fact that having 2 new moons in 1 month is very, very significant. So what this represents is almost like a double renewal. And the renewing aspect of this reality that we're in is that which is referred to, the physical aspect of renewal is referred as resurrection. Yet to be resurrected, one has to be physically or mentally dead first. You know what I'm saying? So based on that, we are all at a stage where we are rising above the lower nature. The lower nature that was born in sin is perpetually born again, just due to the fact that the lower nature represents the physical aspect of reality and your nature. Therefore, the lower self, as is spoken of in the Moorish Holy Circle 7th Quran, is the part of the self that makes the higher, that is there to aspire to be the higher self. So the idea is liberating oneself from the negative, not denying the negative. Saying yes to one instance of evil is saying yes to it all. You know what I'm saying? But one small act of kindness can reverberate faster than 1,000 or 1,000,000 acts of unkindness. Therefore, we are given the power of God and the devil every second of the day. We are put in a position to either be higher or lower in ourselves every second of the day. This is why in ancient Kemet, as much as people talk about it, as much as people want to be high priests in it and act like they, their ancestors was Cleopatra and all of that, all that's well and good. But the truest ritual of being able to be brought into the temple or to the temple secrets is they would kill you inside the temple. And then you would have to resurrect yourself from the physical death, the way Aseer did. And then have to journey yourself out through the eye of the needle, which is referred to as the pyramid. The fact that all pyramids were made from limestone is evident of the fact that the spiritual component of the pyramid itself was more of a hyperdimensional thing, because limestone is a type of mortar or a type of rock that activates crystalline particles through water in high spiritual vibration. So any funeral or any church or anything that's supposed to be built is supposed to be built with limestone, because what limestone does is it makes it easier for the pieces to cut, and it brings forth a certain spiritual resonance, which is why the limestone that was built for the temple was quarried so far away from the temples. So ask yourself, if the temples complexes here in Chichen Itza and Machu Picchu and Tehuantepec and the avenue of pyramids down in so-called South America and Mexico, if they were using limestone and the limestone was symbolic or synonymous to the limestone they were using over there on the other side of the world in ancient Kemet, then so they both were quarrying limestone from the same place? It would make sense if we look at everything as one grand empire instead of a bunch of individual kingdoms that began to take over each other through the course of time. And it becomes a situation where when us today try to make sense of a lot of what was put down by these ancient ones or whatever, we're not looking again from a 360-degree overview of it. If we're looking at it from the perspective of a researcher, then what most researchers do is take spirituality out of their research, because I guess nobody wants to talk about God or anything else when it comes to so-called scholastic research facts. You know, you have these academicians that are all about, well, prove the facts, like it has to be truthful beyond a shadow of a doubt and all of that. But I mean, other than absolute truths in this reality, what is really true other than what it is you accept as the truth? And most people, when they're actually presented with the truth, they'd rather believe the damn lie. The overview of consciousness as a infinite way of the soul's expression into the spirit cannot be transduced or regaled to one aspect of physical creation. Everything around us has a nature. Everything around us has a beginning, Therefore, everything around us then finitely does have an end. The only thing that cannot have an end in this reality or in any other one is the presence of the universal structure of what we call reality, the universal mother, father, mother, God. However, when we say God, we're also talking about the highest level or the highest aspect of the spirit, right? But the highest level and the highest attribute of the spirit that can be achieved cannot be achieved if one is in denial of oneself. If one has put themselves subordinate to another God that is not created in their own image or is created in a graven image unto oneself, that is blasphemy against the actual archetype. So if you're the type of person who believes that the white man is God, right, or the phenotype of the Caucasoid image is God, then that's what it is for you. Then that means that you're going to surrender yourself and put yourself in position to be subordinate, and you're going to become the food for that divinity that you worship, and becomes the food for the divinity that he puts above or exalts above himself. It's just a fact. So in the same way that when churches are consecrated, they have building fund, they have like consecration ceremonies, it's the same thing that is being done when you choose to incarnate here. There's a human being born on this planet every 2.5 seconds. Every 2.5 seconds, a new human or a new being is born physically into the world. Right? But at the same time that that's happening, somebody's also checking out. You understand? What we perceive as death is the ebb and flow of the reality, because that's the estoppel. That's the one thing nobody can get beyond in this reality. You can forestall it. Niggas can try to, hold it back, try to do things like, I don't know, become vampires and shit or whatever they want to do, but that's just forestalling something, and even they die. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like, the only true eternal life exists in the spirit, in the soul. You see what I'm saying? The physical, and then acceptance of that prolongs the physical life. But if you one of these people who have been convinced that there is nothing other than this and that we're all functioning under some sort of chaos theory, which we are to a degree, chaos definitely brings forth the order. It's just that you can't live perpetually in chaos. Like space is perpetually chaotic, as an example. Space is so hazardous that no one can live in it. You know what I'm saying? That you don't get more chaotic than space. There is no up, down, right, left. There's no direction. There's no nothing in space. It's just what it is. It's extra space. It's chaotic, right? But the order within the chaos is the fact that within space itself exists the space to be able to move forward, right?
He just killed a huge mosquito, and I can't believe he's still talking.
Thank you, babe.
There's not a huge spider arachnid.
Right? You got to protect the family. So it just gets to a point where, like I said, you get no more chaotic than that. So as much as you hear people talk about, chaos magic and chaos theory and melanin is chaos, that's true. That's really true. Yet, chaos exists to bring order. You know what I'm saying? To bring order, you need that aspect of it. But once the chaos has been exhausted, the only thing that can perpetuate life is order. That's why I tell people, as much as people don't like the so-called devil or whatever you perceive that devil to be, whether it be a white man, a black man, or both, whatever, think about how crazy jacked up this world would be. So-called cracker didn't have a Bible. If he didn't have a so-called religion or some sort of Freemasonic thing where he could basically be held and try to act like he's some sort of civilized being. Now think of all the crazy shit this nigga did with the Bible. Imagine if he didn't even have a Bible to give a semblance of the order. You understand? And out of that chaos of that whole slavery thing and all of that shit that allegedly happened, and how we have still been suffering from that disenfranchisement, think about how worse it would have been if this cracker didn't have no damn plan, bless you, didn't have no plan. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have no wherewithal to create a pseudo-genre, a pseudo-reality for itself in the manner that there was still a place for you, but you just happen to be at the bottom because the gods of the old world become the devils in the new and vice versa. So imagine didn't have that type of inhibitor on it. You see? So as much as horrible and everything that this physical, reality can be, what I think is missing, especially in our community, is the ability to see something beyond what it is now. You ever see a newly planted tree? Not even newly planted trees. You ever notice? No, most of us don't. But you ever notice how you'll be in a situation where it'll be like close to the end of summer, and during the whole summer you don't see no leaves on the ground, but then one day you happen to notice that the leaves are falling. And then you don't think about it again until one day you come back home and then you see kind of like all the leaves off the tree, you know? And then while that is like that, you don't even think about it until you start to see the leaves come back. But what about Allah's creation, or what about the creation of things like trees and stuff like that, that is so consistent that they know that they all to bud and open up on the same day, March 21st. And this has been since there has been trees that's been going down like this. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody gets caught up on calendars and shit. Oh, this calendar is this time. This calendar is that time. No doubt. But regardless to what calendar is, the trees still know when they need to start budding. The roses and the plants and everything else in the universe still know when it's time out of hibernation. Everybody seems to know that but humans. You know what I'm saying? Humans are the most uneducated animals on the planet because they've been reduced to animalism through tribalism, through feudalism, through democratic socialism, you know what I mean? Through any ism that is created by man. Bring it right back to you. They've done. They're pretty much done. You see her face, right? She's lovely. So it's created, like I said, a space where theories that are really linked together, you see what I'm saying, instances and concepts that are really together are actually not ripped apart. So when I was growing up in school, we had a class called Social Studies where they used to teach us about things like different countries and economics and geopolitical stuff. Quasi. It still wasn't no real history, but it was an overview of modern history, meaning it was putting me on to how the world is working post-Moorish Empire. You know what I'm saying? A matter of course for some people to feel like in order to have a greater stance of control over the masses, they seek to create disharmony within the individuum first. So they try to create something within you that is not in total correspondence with the real. So based on that, like I said, it becomes a matter of course for people to find different avenues of this type of expression. Yet we are not expressing ourselves as our true selves. We're expressing ourselves based upon what we are perceived to be and to express ourselves as. You understand? Like out here, me and the Queen got locks. So it used to be, oh, y'all Jamaican. You understand? Because the present understanding about dreadlocks in the world is that if you have locks, you're from Jamaica. You see? That's ignorant, right? But that's still what mainstream people, dumbed down human population, understand as an affinity or some sort of quasi-nationality. You did? But then wearing a feather and a turban and a jewel or whatever in the front With feathers, it just throws the whole thing off. Because really, you can't call me an Arab either. Because Arabs don't dress like that. Arabs don't wear feathers. Only places in the so-called Arabian world you see them wearing feathers is where? Morocco, Egypt, Turkey. That's it. Really. And you lucky seeing a Turkey now due to the fact that they turned Turkey into such a secular type of country. But they still recognize the state religion of Islam. You know what I'm saying? When you see Arabs and how they dress as sheiks and all that, they're totally different than how the sheiks over here do it because we're a different people. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, stop talking. So they wind up destroying it. Oh, she killed it. It's a pool thing, right? And that's what happens, D. They wind up using instances of what people's perception of this reality is and then what you got to conform yourself to be. So even though people know certain situations about certain human organizations, not to just always call out or, focus in on police, but just use them as an example. Everybody knows, especially in America, who is public enemy number one with the police and who does that or whatever, but that don't stop thousands or millions of people from becoming part of an organization that really has just been there to kidnap and lock people up. There was a time where under our society, there was no jails. How about that? There was a time in your history where jail didn't even exist for people like you. You can't even imagine that. Black people can't imagine a world without jail or without being confined in some way. You understand? Niggas don't even think about it. People think that there's always been this much strife and sodomy and killing and all. People really think that. People really think that. They think that the level of corruption that exists today is the same as the level of corruption that existed back in the day. Let me tell you something. As depraved as the Roman state was, as crazy and everything as them people was, they never legalized. They had laws against homosexuals marrying. And they are practicing the shit, but they got laws against that. So as bastardized and as crazy and as destructive as Rome was, they still had morals enough to know that when you create a society where people are creating new humans in a manner other than a man or a woman copulating together, you then create a society that you will eventually lose control of. Because you can't predict how these things is incarnating here. At least with a man and a woman, there's a certain energy. So if they now want to create a society where they are injecting people into this reality that don't come through the womb of a man, through the womb of a woman, and the shaft penis of a man, then you're dealing with a whole nother world. This is something different. You understand? You're dealing with a society or a world that is not in the image of the originating program of that place. Meaning that if I got a PC computer, no matter how much I program this computer with Mac program, it's never going to be a Mac, man. It's a PC. Same thing. If I start out with the Mac, no matter how much PC stuff I put in it, it's still going to process it the way a Mac would, because the initial founding code of the initial programming of the machine, of the function, was to be a certain. So I don't never see a bee trying to have a baby with a wasp. I don't never see an ant trying to have a baby trying to copulate with a flea. You understand? You don't see that in nature. Even when you see things like monkeys, when you get into homosexuality, you find that in the simian kingdoms. You see that in the simian kingdom. But even then, when it's time to have a baby, he's not having sex with the man to do that. He's going and having sex with the female monkey. In a society where you have a predominance of what they prefer or what they refer to as homosexuality, right? What you're seeing is an aspect of the species mind pattern trying to extinct itself. Because I'm not talking about your sexual preference. It has nothing to do with me. That's not my business. I'm not talking about that. I'm not even really talking about the act. I'm talking about the actual result of the act does not produce the desired effect of the initial programming of the two variables involved. And according to the United States government, it's still listed as a mental disorder. The World Health Organization doesn't acknowledge that. The same one, so everybody's like, oh, well, that's what they could say that, but that ain't real. But then it's like people pick and choose what they want to accept from so-called ruling elite. So because the ruling say you can marry, that's all good. But the same ruling said that you could marry also said that the people who do marry in that way, based on the medical aspect of this, are kind of insane and are mentally, something's wrong with them mentally. But that part ain't true, right? That part ain't got nothing to do with the overall agenda or what is done. We should just focus on the fact that people should be able to love and marry who they want to marry. But let's think about this. When these people was marketing this stuff to us, to humanity or the American populace during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, that was a whole counterculture thing. People were against marriage. They were against all that. They wanted to be able to free and love who they want without any restrictions. It only became about marriage when you had organizations that started to pop up like GLAAD and the other one, Act Now, and these. It became that when it needs to become a political agenda, so that way we could promote a political party and then create candidates who are openly gay and stuff like that, that will then promote the agenda of so-called gay people that got their agenda out of the so-called equal rights movement for women, right, the feminist movement for women, out of the so-called civil rights for black people. So now you have black people who would rather advocate for gay rights, so-called black rights. I'm gay first, black second. Bullshit. Not to this white man. Bullshit. Not to him. You always a nigga first, okay? That's what it is here. Because that's the climate and the reality that they created here. There's a psychological experiment these people did on World Star the other day where I was watching where they had this white dude and a black dude, and the white dude was acting like he was breaking in the car. He was out there for about 45 minutes. People walking by, nobody even looking at this nigga. Nothing. No help, but nobody looking like he doing nothing wrong. You understand? For Adi, there was a point where the police pulled up right next to him, looked at the nigga, kept moving. So then his man goes, the black guy, the so-called black guy. He goes out to do it. 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, 2 cop cars, 4 police. Homie up against the wall, Surratt. 2 minutes. If you was to watch Basketball Wives, like from another country, whatever, and you would just see that shit 1 week, and you say, oh, that's just that week, and then you turn that shit back on and watch it again. Like, by the third show, you would think that black women are the most insane people in the world. Because then what you would do, you would look at other shows, like, what's another one? Right? Real Housewives of Atlanta or whatever, other black women doing the same shit. And then, boom, then we turn on the TV. What TV show is really about them? Oh, Single Ladies, where they doing the same thing they doing on in the reality show. Then, what else we got? Oh, Scandal. See what I'm saying? Then what else we got? Oh, Being Mary Jane, where this chick is actually giving dudes top. It's non-simulated sex scenes and that stuff. This chick is giving dudes top and all of that. You need it that bad? Why you think they always use the same black actors? Why you think that? You ever notice that in all of these movies, it's always the same people in them? You mean there's no other actors in the world? No other black actors in the world that's good but these 10 people that you keep showing me? Do bring them along. They always do it one at a time. See what I'm saying? Like when they got the Lapita chick. The self-hating African Yale alumni who's going out with the trisexual Jared Leto. Born from the Children of God porcelain doll programming, loaned out as a child for holy prostitution. I saw an interview with Corey Haim last night. That's the one to tell you too, Ma. I saw an interview with remember the two Corys, Corey Feldman and Corey Haim? Corey Haim was on the shit, and he said, they asked him, they said, what you think the number one problem in Hollywood is? He said the number one problem in Hollywood is not the drugs or the money or any of that other type of stuff. It's the pedophilia. They said, what? He said, yeah. He said, that's the thing nobody in Hollywood talk about. He said the number one problem in Hollywood is the pedophilia. He said and then he got choked up. And he's like, okay, we're going to go to commercial, blah, blah, blah. You understand? It's a cycle. It's a system. Every movie Shirley Temple made, they was molesting her in. You understand? The nature of entertainment, how they have basically manifested, is based on sexual subjugation to be able to bind this, but then use the creative aspect of it to transcend the actual abuse to create something quasi-beautiful. So you ain't noticed that in this movie, 12 Years a Slave, they don't have no black Americans in the shit? All the slaves is actually from Africa? That tells me right there. So you can't put me in no movie like that. Because if I'm going to play who I was in the period, I'm going to be the guy that was owning the white man. I'm going to be the quote-unquote one-eyed Charlie. I'm going to be the one coming in and saying, okay, the emperor or the sultan said that y'all niggas got to do it like this. And what? Oh, these Negroes, these dudes right here is calling themselves Negro by their own mouth? Oh, keep them niggas. That's why they hate Moors. That's why they hate real Moors. Because a Moor coming through, he'll say, yo, brother, why you got this chain on your neck? I'm like, oh, don't talk to him. He a slave. He is not a slave. Are you a slave? And then the nigga said, well, yes, somebody is a slave. Oh, this nigga said, oh, keep this nigga. So let's get money. Like, that's how real Moors got down. And that's how it is today. Say it ain't. As much as these so-called black revolutionary RBG, whatever they want to call themselves, or these hardcore fanatic, whatever black liberation thing is the biggest thing this week, as much as these niggas is all that, I ain't never see one nigga walk by a situation where he done seen police accosting or arresting some people and go in there and stop it. Most niggas will do is call the person's people for him, or which is great. At least niggas do something. I'm saying that to say that when you create a situation where you act like you're going to be a certain way, and then when the time comes and you confronted with it, you don't do what you say you're going to do, that means that you are not about what you say that you want to do. And that is most people who profess to be a part or profess on what you should do or how you should see yourself as a so-called conscious person. Same nigga talking to you at the lecture about this, and this. This will be the same nigga when he go to Europe or when he, in his other life, he with Becky. Same black woman talking to you about how you should eat and how you should do this or do that and what you do for your womb and all of that, or how to breastfeed. This chick probably never breastfed none of her kids. But these be the people writing books on all this shit. You dig what I'm saying? How you going to get rid of that? How do we get rid of that out of community? How is that dealt with? How do you march that away? How do you mediate that out of the general populace, that attitude, to be able to act and pontificate about something so deep, but then you ain't never really done it? Even when I wasn't formally in the temple, I knew that I needed to be in the temple. It's just that the people who were promoting the temple coming to me with it was on some BS. Very few. Very few. I'll come in with something real because everybody, like I said, is still functioning from this splintered reality that we've seen. That is fractured. Even the temple. Nothing is perfect. But everything is perfectly made. You see what I'm saying? The minute you go on the lot and you see the Maybach or the Bugatti or whatever it is, and you sit in it and crank it up and system the engine and all that, pay all of that grip for it, as soon as you drive it off, turn the key on in the engine, drive it off that lot, it's losing value from that point on. You might as well deduct $1 a day from the time you have it. So then it's all about how long you could keep it before you could flip it back for not even a quarter of what you bought it for. Don't believe me? I heard this nigga had Wayne buy this convertible Maybach, and then for like $1.5 million or whatever. This nigga turned around 3 years later, sell it to Tiger for $2.2 million. That's big pimping, man. A car that his artist seen him drive in was in. But again, this is hubris. Tiger young. He don't understand what's really going on. You dig? Birdman do. But again, the alliances made are what allow the reality to be formed. So based on how you created the structure in the beginning, those are going to be the operating factors of whatever universe is created. They talking to you about Snowden. Oh, this guy Snowden went and dropped all of this knowledge and started dropping all these American secrets. He's worse than Victor Assange, right? The WikiLeaks guy, right? But Snowden is Mark Zuckerberg's, like, second cousin. They leaving that out of the mainstream media. You dig what I'm saying? That's his cousin. The nigga who started Facebook, his cousin. And they both Rothschilds. So they days, because the Rothschilds fall under the day shift, or what was called the day. But see, a lot of people don't know real Moorish history, man. They don't. They're relying on a book to tell them. They're relying on an elder to tell them. They're not going directly within heart, which is the throne of Allah, and asking Allah, or going into the pineal organ, asking the prophet, who in the pineal organ is you. That's his cousin. So this is what I'm saying. The whole thing is a wash. The whole thing is basically set up to create the doubt. Like, we know this, but what we do at Super Heru Radio is try to peel back the onion so much that you really get into the root or the face of what it is. So people could talk about a shadow government. People could talk about that. But here in Super Heru Radio, the shadow government is actualized as the basic government, which consists of what? Lobbyists, right? Whips, senators, current. These are the same people that they say, oh, these are the Illuminati people holding it down. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a group of people who've been doing rituals for a couple hundred years, doing sex orgies and doing all types of crazy, profane stuff, snuff films, crazy stuff. Their children are the ones that wind up going in and then growing into the basic organizations that are funded today. We've all seen American Psycho. That was basically, Wolf of Wall Street that was basically it. The only thing DiCaprio wasn't doing in that movie was literally hacking people, but the same premise. That whole era between the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that block of time is what built your modern, what the United States is, or what America is. Your worldview was fostered between those specific generations. Prior to that, you were in a whole different world. It was a different earth. They killed so many of your people, you don't even know. The Haitian Revolution was started by a Moor named Bookman. A Moor who spoke Arabic and read and all of that. From Jamaica, meaning he was a Maroon, which means they was Moors. Right? But now I can't deal with that. Because, you know, Muslims can't. We're Christian. But the whole modern idea of even the Caribbean was created by these people with the help of people like Frederick Douglass, who happened to be the first ambassador to Haiti. After he left his black wife and his black son to marry the daughter of a senator that was starting to who was into Jeffersonian politics. The Democratic Party was created by Thomas Jefferson. You understand, it did not exist at a point in their history. It was created. It was something that was manufactured due to a lobby. The lobby, again, is usually, in layman's terms, is the waiting area, the structure. So lobbyists wait hand and foot on senators because they're paid exorbitant amount of money to get people to function whatever their agenda is to be, which is usually from a corporation, not a person. However, the only citizens of the United States can be corporations. That's why McDonald's and J.P. Morgan and them have rights than you, because they're real citizens of the United States. You're a United States citizen. White folk know. They know why you could just see them out any time of the day and it seem like they got money, not a care in the world. They know why. They know. Not all of them is privy to it, but all of them can be it, so long as they, quote unquote, white. Because they mix the caste with their status. In other words, the caste of WHIPE was now linked up with the people who were under the designation WIGHT, which means like a goat. Somebody under the cruel and unusual punishment, their existence being downtrodden. This is what a white man was, a WIGHT man was to a certain time in this country's history. And then this country, with the help of the British and the French and the Spanish, which basically became the Italians, helped promote fascism, democracy throughout the world through the transition of the so-called Franciscan Moors into the amalgamated Moorish Empire where we under now. If I tell you right now, think of an alien. If I say right now, think of a alien. You can't. Wow, the order. That's what this is, right? Wow. See, we're talking about the order. The order is on right now with Heath Ledger, and it's at the part where they hanging the dude in the tabernacle, and while he's dying, you ask him the question, and he brings forth the answer out the abyss before the neck crooks. And the black pope is giving him the designation. But the ill shit about this is that the black pope is RoboCop. Right? And again, it's Heath Ledger. Oh, and Fast and Furious is on. The trifecta, they flipping it. They flipping it. Paul Walker's on one channel, and Heath Ledger's on the other. Damn. What channel is Heath Ledger on? What's the number? 122, right? So that's on our cable box. So that's 4. Wow. So again, this is what I'm talking about. It's just what it is. The nigga played the role too well. Then when you watch the interview with Jack Nicholson, he said, "I told him." He lit his cigar and he said, "I told him." I said, the Joker's it's a very, very heavy role. You got to be careful. He said, and I'll just leave it at that. That's like everybody that plays Superman just got jammed, just wound up getting jammed up. Because certain things they doing on the spiritual level is so heinous that the antimatter energy that's coming through the Higgs boson that they realize, Higgs boson representing the white man term for God particle, a.k.a. melanin, that was found in the Hadron Collider based upon them trying to draw power out of the tesseract that was the 16-fold cube that allowed them to try to get to a point 1 second prior to the Big Bang. Because what they're trying to do is get to the point before the triple stage darkness actualizes darkness, or before the triple stage darkness initiated the light, because then they could feel they could be God, because they could exist 1 second before the light was done. That's why they call themselves the sons of light. So with this Hadron Collider thing, they're trying to look back into space by trying to create time-folding tesseracts that were perpetuated through jump boxes that they created under something called Project Pegasus, as well as MK Naomi, of which allegedly your boy was part of the initial program, Pegasus, who's the so-called administrative president of the United States of America. So this thing is deep, but this is all black history, because all of this is based on ethereal and a technology, spiritual technology that exists in the pineal organ. What you think they do with all of the pineal organs of all these black people they wind up killing and wind up dead? You think they just bury them? Why you think they wind up putting these together at funerals and just fill them up with paper? Because they take out all the organs and swap them into themselves, swap them into other people. It's $1 billion industry, man. They recycle them all. Think all of the victims of the snuff films go. They don't all go in ditches. And these snuff films are crazy. They, you know, I don't want to be graphic, but they just do crazy. It's but it's condoned because this is high what they call Jesuit right that they dealing with. And any Scottish rite, I'm sorry to tell you, don't hate the player, anybody who plays Scottish rite. You have taken the fourth vow. You a fourth vow Jesuit, whether you like it or not. When you put on that apron, you really acknowledging the Pope. That also means you're acknowledging the Black Pope. So, you did what I'm saying. You've taken the fourth vow, and the fourth vow explicitly says what they do to Moors. Specifically the Moors and Masons. Take your babies and bash them at the head and strangle them in they cords, with their own umbilical cords if need be. Or for the Pope, or for the Holy Father, who is also the Holy Mother. This is what you pledging. Again, don't hate on me. Check it out. Because the fourth under the Southern jurisdiction. The Southern jurisdiction was founded by Albert Pike. Do your history. These niggas is paying thousands of dollars for these degrees, going in, these signs, generationally. Don't even know what I'm telling you. And the ones that do know ain't telling them. These be their brothers. These be the people. These be their fathers. These be people who brought them in. Been lying to them their whole life. And then you wonder why these people wind up being alcoholics and have prostate problems and all this other type of shit. Because you're doing too much, man. If you're going to hold the burden of somebody else's secrets, man. Don't think you could use that secret to lord over them. It's always going to backfire on you. Nobody could do that really but the devil. Put yourself in a position to be subordinate to somebody else based upon a compromised position. Let it out, man. Let them know. Let everybody know what it is. So that way, regardless to who or what, niggas can't flip it on you. God willing, we've all had moments that ain't the best, that we don't want nobody to see. Everybody. I don't give a damn who you are, how many books you wrote, how many women you slept with, how many niggas you got tricking on you. Don't matter, man. And what happens is you wind up finding it harder towards your older years to find it that you actually did, to remember anything that you actually did that was good. So in order for you to feel alive, you got to exploit somebody else. That's a learned behavior. That's not original humanity. That's not how we was living over here. When I think about the Society of Public Area Montana, I'm thinking about a place with no white people, with no black, with no Chinese people, nobody. With nobody that's trying to get over or kill somebody. There was a time where over here it existed like that. Millennia of peace. The time that we actually start documenting war on this planet, around the time when we started to become more physical. They want me to believe that at the time of dinosaurs there was no people, but then they're gonna make a cartoon called The Flintstones with people using dinosaurs as machines. Like, which one is it, man? Where those pictures? Where's all of that? That's nowhere around because real history is lauded between the lines and put in movies where it's only white people. So you think history is only white people. White people think the Moors was white. They think that. They fooled their own people real well, yo. They think they've always had it good. They think they've always been in a position over you. They think that shit in 12 Years as a Slave was real. They think it was really like that. And there were points in society where it was really like that. But there was points in society where it was really like that for white people, black people, Asian people, Pilgrims, Quakers. We wasn't having it at certain points. And some of us wasn't trying to really deal with these people like that. And when I say these people, I mean Moors from the Holy Roman Empire. It wasn't really rocking with them because of what was to happen based on all the prophecies that existed over here that was being passed through the Kitwa society down to the other societies that existed, faith societies. The Elk Society, the Deer Society, the Beaver, the Rabbit, the Sparrow. The Kitwa Society, the Kitwa Moors, who were also functioning as consuls and stuff of the national government, were the original Masons over here. And they are the ones that Prince Hall the right to do what he did, which then gave Prince Hall the right to set up Grand Lodge of England. But remember, this is the 1700s, man. There was no inn over there. That place was Albine. That was the cloister, you know what I'm saying? That was the Isle of Wight, the Isle of Man. That was Albine. England, New England was over here. That's why it was new. It's still New England over here. Still call it that. And what flag did they use to represent it? They used the continental flag. We got to take that back. Moors ain't even do that. We ain't even formally do that yet. They created a society of hacks. You know what I'm saying? These niggas are straight hacks. Me and Selena did this video for this song called The Beach. And, you know, she did another one called Brooklyn to Miami. And then I'm watching these mainstream chicks using terms like they and all of this, copying, like straight scenes. Like, it's crazy. But then if I say that, like, I'm crazy. I'm now inflated. But I'm looking at this blog talk thing. We have over 5 million listeners now, man. So I'm just as big as these people. Like, in theory, I just don't have the bread. I just don't have the physical fiat currency to do that. But I'm obviously reaching as many people. You dig? So is the Queen. But I'm watching how, based on the content, based upon the representation, how it's being flipped and bounced into other avenues, you see? And this has been happening. But the secret is this is what's happening to all of us. You know how many people act like you when you not around? That's why when you come back around, when they around, everybody stop talking. And all give you this look, like, because you're always going to be the odd man out. You're the one that, not only your earthly nationality, you know, your celestial nationality. That's not dealing with a whole other thing. It's just about how you're going to put that in practice and how you're going to leapfrog over all of the rest of these deadbeats that's trying to convince you that their way is the way. Nobody just wants to be one thing because they think one thing is limited. But when you say you are more, and you really know what that means, G, you're all things. You're all people, over all people. That's why they hate on it. It's real, man. It's real. You see how everything you as a Moor use and say in a vernacular sense is somehow reminiscent to some aspect of a culture that you have always existed in. But it's been put outside of you due to how you've been domesticated here. What we strive to do at Super Heru Radio is give you not only the diagnosis, but the methodology behind how the actual process has come into being, because that's actually the true destruction of whatever outcome they could want from it. Because when you understand it on a subatomic level, it now is under you. You have conquered it. We exist in the mind first. The mind don't know the difference between of you playing and your post accelerating in a video game than you actually outside fighting in the real world fighting. Like, it don't distinguish, oh, this is a video game and this is that. It does that on the primal level, but on a intellectual level, the mind don't distinguish one dream reality from a waking reality, because they both fake. They both not real. You don't really look like that. Beyonce don't really look like that. These people on TV don't look like that. Not who they are. When I was, coming up with certain, with the standing of certain things, I would not generalize as much. But now, with things are now, so much stuff that we have brought forth in this show has actually come to pass. So many things in the book that I wrote has actually come to pass. This is not me saying, oh, I'm the prophet. You never hear me say that, because that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is everyone who listens to the show or has listened or will listen has bear witness, or we have strived to bear witness to show and prove what we have said. And it is actually actualized in the world, being mirrored or puppeted through the mouths of other people. Therefore, the need to show and prove things at this point is moot. The only thing to do now is to allow the consistency to elevate it to another form, which is what we're striving to do with The Truth Be Told, which is going to be a great show, again, hosted by the Queen, of which I'll be providing some of the other aspects to it that will be, again, in a visual medium that can become more of a segue now into a quasi-mainstream thing. Because the thing about it is, anybody come out now wearing feathers or anything like that in their hair, you already know where they got that from. You dig? Anybody coming out now trying to rap wearing feathers and all that, you already know what they're trying to do. So now if they do it again, it's going to look hacky. You understand? So the fact that we are established, when I say we, I'm talking about the proverbial Moorish American movement on a whole. Everybody that has acknowledged their birthright, nationality, inheritance, the great God Allah, the Holy Quran, Prophet, and the mysticism and the true spiritual mysticism that comes from Moorish science. You know what I'm saying? That's when I say we. But in my specific we, I'm talking about, again, Super Heru Radio family, as well as Temple and everybody else. It's now become a time for us to be able to, let the world know almost that there is a contingent of original people who love who and what they are and their society and their people, and who wish to exist how they want to exist for real, based upon the fact that they represent that ancient future connection that will always exist, because we are the people of time itself. But again, when I say we the people, I'm talking about the original people. The same way when the government talks about preferred stock, they're talking about 14th Amendment citizens or people in, or when they say mortgage-backed securities, they're talking about people in about to go to jail, as well as mortgage-based securities, which are people in jail. They created a system to lock you out of the inheritance that was provided for you, and then made you a trustee of it, and then created a way to get you to hopefully commit crimes and things where they could take more and more of it from you and eventually house your body in a place where they can continue to move the money from place to place. This is how they run government. You know what I'm saying? To the point where people are moving people from place to place. Like, think about it. All of the migrations that the nation of Israel had to go through. That means everywhere they went, they had to take their stuff. Which means that at some point in time, things that they had originally was left. And other people picked those things up and started using those things and then incorporated those things into how they lived and then acted like they were the ones who created those things. It was ill. The other day I was at the park and I had on the joint, the national headgear, and then while I was in the park and the mom was playing and stuff, we just got this dog. Was playing and stuff. There was this Hindu family there with the grandfather and grandmother, on the old Sikh tip. And then on the other side was a Ashkenazi dude and his wife or whoever. So that was ill because while I was sitting there, I was doing it now. I was like, wow, okay. It's the Moor here, the Jew, and the Hindu. And everybody else was just like French or Spanish or, But in that, in terms of the nationality-wise of what was going on, it was very interesting to be in that thing because as much as they was in it, you know what I'm saying, I noticed the status-wise and how it was affecting everybody else. The difference between me and them was, again, the fact that not only me being a Moor, but being a national in that sense, but also the fact that it was easier for me to interact, you see what I'm saying, with everybody else in terms of the children, So, again, which was making me think about the whole Corey Haim thing or going back to that. The fact that he said that the number one thing was pedophilia, it really was interesting, again, the fact that these people, that all of these child celebrity stars and all of that would go through the things they went through due to all the abuse and ritualistic torture that they go through these people, like Woody Allen and these type of people. That's why these people never go to jail or nothing. So the fact that a lot of them were in the upper echelon of this thing or whatever happened to be of at least Jewish practice in name, right, being accused of these things or whatever, as messed up as it is, this is not to say that every person that's a Jew is doing that. That would be erroneous. And that would be a dark version of what equality is. However, at the same time, if the nation of the people who call themselves Jews do not stand up and stop the people who are involved with that type of stuff, that are calling themselves this and identifying with that faith, then they are a part and parcel of it. You can't watch a snuff flick and not be a party to the murder. You know what I'm saying? You can't, drive by a car accident and not look. You know what I'm saying? That's just, people are not wired that way. And a lot of times this knowledge will make you think that you a lot more evolved sometimes than you really are. That's where you know that the devil's involved somehow. You know what I mean? Because it's always through pride, man. Because the devil don't ask what you would do. The devil want to know what you wouldn't do. That's what he want to test you on. However, again, Moors are supposed to read the Bible from Revelation to Genesis, while Christians read it from Genesis to Revelation. But that's the difference between Moors and Christians. You see what I'm saying? But there'll be Moors now that somebody like me has said that, they'll go around and act like they always do that. And that's what I'm talking about. It's this whole idea that with this, I watched Selena post something, and then like right after that, I see like mad people, mad chicks post it that she always give love to, but don't never give love to her for some reason. But once he posts her shit, they just go ham, yo. So what, I'm whack because I noticed that in these people, or are they whack because that's what they do? They just like that. You know what I mean? But dudes always love. Of course. You see what I'm saying? Not just because she's dope, her body and all of that, but also because she be keeping it real, man. But it's always competition with females, man. Always that, yo. And with dudes, it's like some niggas is like becoming gay just because they feel like that's the only way they can get some type of femininity from somebody. Like this is how much sexual liberation has destroyed the image of the black woman in the world. When she agreed to, go with Gloria Steinem and the rest of these white chicks, man, she became Whoopi Goldberg, man. Look at that. Look at that thing. She became Oprah. Look at those things. Those aren't people. You understand? These are agendas. These are cutouts for your daughter to emulate. You understand? To feed the meat grinder that they refer to as the ladder of success. There's a sister on I think it's World Star who's talking about the history of Haiti. I forget the sister's name, but power and honor to her. She really brought forth the real on it. But one of the things she said in it, which was true, who people know the story about Desagnier and Petit, who was the traitor who wound up getting Desagnier killed and then brought the French back in, and here we are. At the time he was preaching all of this black republic, we got to do this for ourselves and all this other crap, he trying to get his French father to recognize him, this white man, this mulatto dude, excuse me. And this is what I mean, yo. What are we going to do to denationalize that? How you going to denationalize that out of the people? How you going to get that out of them? You can't even get niggas to stop saying nigga. You understand? You can't get niggas. You could get niggas to get money behind something that's not going to work. But if they know that you actually got something that'll work, you see what I'm saying? They ain't really going to come up with that's when it's going to have a problem. That's when they're not going to have the funds or whatever. Like right now, we have over 5 million listeners. You know what I could do with $5 million for the people right now? At it. And I do, but I got to go through shit to get it. You dig what I'm saying? But at least I know how to do it. You dig what I'm saying? These niggas got people out here, bugging. They got people out here bugging. They got y'all tripping. They got y'all paying attention to bullshit. And y'all doing it. Y'all doing it. You know what I'm saying? Just don't lump me in with the shit. That's all I ask. When you think of whoever, don't lump me in with none of them people. Try to think of me like in a different room or away from all of that. because I've made strides to be able to have it like that. You understand? Because there's actually an aspect of this thing that's real. Think about that. Think about that there's actually something real in this thing. But you gotta be real with yourself. You gotta be real with where you at. You can't be involved in 3 cases or some other shit and think that somebody gonna be able to come in and do some shit. Like, that don't make sense. Like, you can't think that because you're in a situation, you know what I'm saying, that the temple or the prophet can just magically get you out. Because there's an element of it that is that simple. But at the same time, are you worthy of that at this particular point? Is what you caught up in because you really caught up, these niggas trying to trap you up in it? Or you did some shit that some dude taught you or told you to do that sounded cool, but it wasn't actually, you know what I'm saying? I've been there. I've been that dude. That's what I'm saying. I've been that guy who's been like, oh, this person said this, but it didn't really work like this. Why? Because it's something else. But like I said, our generation was left on our own. My generation was kind of left on their own. You understand? We didn't have no people teaching us none. The only people teaching us shit was niggas in the street. You understand? We ain't have nobody else. I came from the era where rappers shot each other, dude. I came up in the era where there was a club called Mecca that was in the Lower East Side by the water, by down the street from where the Chelsea Piers is at. You know, way back days when it was like you could barely get to rap shit because they wasn't letting it go down. It was always some shit with the police outside or whatever. You know what I mean? I came up in that era. You dig? With niggas, where you would say certain shit in terms of rap or whatever, niggas would fight. Especially if it was you know, whatever. Like, it was real. I came up in a real era where it was real tactile communication, not this whole I'ma shoot you shit. Not that era. That was part of it, but it had to escalate to that. In my era, it had to escalate to that. There was only certain niggas that were shooters or cutters. But most people was into, you know, fighting, brawling, whatever. But it had to escalate to the point where it got that. It wasn't this whole new era where I just roll up on you and pop you and shit like I don't know you. Like, that's whack. That's some real type of, like, I'm just popping you because I want your sneakers. Like some like real whack shit. And that's what niggas be doing with these Jordans and all that. A shoe. They fly, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? Because I came up in that era too. I had them. Or have them. But I'm not going to cut somebody's foot off to get them. I'm not going to sleep on the street all night to get them. Are you crazy for a sneaker? If I was to tell these niggas right now, if you slept outside my house right now, every day I would give you a whole lesson, not only on nationality, but give you a physical regimen to go with it. And then by the end of the month, you be not only physically fit, but mentally fit. Niggas wouldn't do that. Who am I? Like, who am I really? Like, who are you? You just some nigga on Blog Talk who do, blah, you know what I'm saying, who you know, do tapes and wrote a book or whatever, do rap or whatever, but, like, who are you? Exactly. Who am I? You get? That's how serious I take myself and unserious I take myself at the same time. Like, I'm not in this to get people to be into this. I'm almost like a warning that if you really not about shit, don't do it, man. Real talk. That's where I be at. If you in this thing longer than 3 years, you doing something real good. Because me and this woman have been evaluating our marriage for the past 14 years, and we have been like, wow, I don't even know how we or why we even did shit like that. But again, who knew that we was the ones blazing the trail? Because leaving these niggas, they wouldn't tell us. You see what I'm saying? They want to take credit for the shit. They act like they ain't going to UCC website, see our paperwork, download the format, and been using it ever since. They're going to act like that. But because I ain't make a DVD where I said that I did it all the time and I wasn't bringing it up in every lecture, you see what I'm saying? like you, the people, you have you have given these people power that they not supposed to have. These people ain't taking nothing from you that you're not giving them. But let it be some real shit. Let me tell you, everybody tonight need to send $20. Well, how about this? Everybody tonight send $100 so that way we could put a down payment on something that we could eventually secure in a way where we ain't got to never pay it again for it. And it'll be a place where everybody in the world, everybody in the whole world could come to and really get real moral science, not all of this bullshit. Not all of this shit you think these niggas is telling you. These niggas will tell you, oh, yeah, well, you know, he charging for knowledge. That's right. Tell them niggas, you know what? He said that. He said he is. Yeah, I am. Because guess what? For 7 years straight, I done gave the world free lectures. Free. For shit that you ain't never heard nowhere else, where you heard after on other races, on other shows. And this is all by the grace of Allah. Because I never wanted to do none of this. All I ever wanted to do was rap. So thank God the inspiration was Rakim and Brother Jay. You know what I'm saying? And not like Hammer or somebody else. And Hammer's dope. I didn't like him then, but I was too young to understand what was going on with Hammer then. But Hammer was gangster. Look what you heard. Hammer employed hundreds of people, man. Hundreds of people. This nigga Jay-Z is in bed with Barneys, and these niggas is frisking niggas. They frisking black people when they walk up in that piece. And him and his bitch calling himself Bay. A Bay? Really? There's no other title? There's no other word? There's no other title you could have went to? But that word, why? Why that? You don't know what that means? All this YouTube surfing, right? All this internet surfing, copying niggas and shit, watching niggas shit. You don't know what that means? You ain't never heard of me? You ain't never seen nothing I did? Nothing? Bitch, nothing? The fuck out of here, man. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you, yo. Sometimes people will know you, and this is based upon me being in what's called the cyberverse, right? But yo, I just got a cell phone in 2004. You get what I'm saying? I just got a computer. You understand? I just got up on certain shit because I was put in a pit of wolves, man. The niggas that was acting like they was there to film and do certain things to help or whatever, but these niggas was really trying to line their pockets and just pump the next new shit and move on to the next, just like a label. And I already had a deal. I already wrote for the source. I already modeled for the source. I already did shit. You dig what I'm saying? But again, it's all based upon the fact that we came up in a generation that was able to merge all things into one thing. That's hip-hop. And hip-hop is the poor man's moral science. Remember where you heard that first. Hip-hop is the poor man's moral science. And that's the shit that's rocking the planet. That's the culture of the New World Order, nigga. That's what they selling everything. That's how they pimping your daughters. That's how they getting them to do selfies with penises and shit in their mouth. That's how they doing it. Your man Zuckerberg and your man Snowden, who's Vendak, right? The truth teller. Whereas, what's his name? Was Mendak, the noble liar. Both CIA program call-sign words. So this whole thing is an op anyway. So boo-hoo, another false flag, another waste of money, another useless inquiry. But this is all the setup for the next big show. Big show is going to be your homegirl Hillary with Palin going for the presidency of 2015, and this nigga giving her the alley-oop. Because they don't have nobody better. Who are you going to get besides her? That's why they got to rest her. They got to make sure she get the right women to have sex with or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They got to chill her out, give her the right drugs. They do her like a horse, like a racehorse. They conked her in the head, which was the Hiram ritual, when she had to testify in the Benghazi thing, because they didn't want her to blow it up in the program to go south. That's why every time you see her in court, she was wearing green. Like, you got to know certain things and how these things move, because once you know how they move, the people that's listening already know that you know what's going down. So if they do anything, they really proving you right. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to hasten on Allah's torment any quicker by doing anything to me or my family, because we ain't doing nothing other than what we've been doing. You know what I'm saying? So forget that. We told people about a book called The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War. I ain't never heard no other Moors talk about that book. I ain't never heard nobody talk about that book but me. Real talk. You know that book is $303 now? When I got this, it was $25. I'm trying to find somebody who got it to send me a PDF or a Xerox copy of it. Take pity on your boy and help out the master teacher, yo. Real talk. Like, people think, like, what I'm also realizing is that we as black people can become used to certain shit. Like, because you build up a certain consistency, people just become used to it and think that you just think that I'm just doing this. Like, I'm just making this happen somehow. And I am, but not how you think. This a dude told me, it's like, yo, I thought you was rich. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, but they basing this, again, on what other niggas is getting. And these other niggas ain't producing nothing, because I know and got people who are part of all of their different organizations, and they all telling me the same thing. And these are not people that I, quote-unquote, recruited. These are people who found me after messing with that. This is all by the will of Allah. This ain't me. You understand? Left up to me, I'd have just made records. I'd have just rapped, yo, and painted. Drew comic characters, read comics. That's what I like doing. Reading books, you know. Building, you know, being with the black woman, you know, laying around. That's what I like doing. Working out. That's what I like doing. But I don't have the luxury of doing that all the time, how I would like to do it. Because there are people who depend on me, who I don't even know, who I'll never meet. You understand? It's serious, yo, what we have created in this forum. And everybody should take responsibility and understand that this is a real thing. And whoever hears this, whenever they hear this, on this planet, in Alpha Centauri, in Digitaria, in Arcturus, in the inner earth, in your inner heart, in your inner mind, when I'm talking to you, I'm really talking to you. Because I don't have nothing to lose and nothing to gain at the same time. Because I pay to do this. So when niggas start beefing because I got a system, I told the queen, I said, watch, I'm going to use this gumroad shit that my brother found for me to be able to catalog what I'm doing and be able to earn a profit for the work and the time it took to do all of that and present it the way that I do and have been doing for the past 12 years. 14 years. You understand what I'm saying? I'm older than half of the niggas that's doing this shit out here, but I look younger than them because the day that I took this serious, I stopped aging. And so did you. Because once you get to a certain level, you just stop doing certain shit. You just don't got to do certain shit no more. So there's certain shit that I'm just not going to do anymore. You dig? And at the same time, it's not to say that I'm this or I'm that, but I know my worth. And as every individual, as a Moor, as a noble, you need to know what you're worth. and a workman is worthy of his hire. If you producing a service and also producing zakat, which is donation, which is alms to the poor, being a poor righteous teacher. I've been in this thing where people have literally tried to break up me and my queen, have literally gone on their so-called shows and actually done things and said things heinously out of some sort of misplaced anger because really it busts down to me not calling them back and not hanging out with them. That's what it really be boiling down to a lot of times. That's how petty niggas be. So I understand why women sometimes be like, oh, this nigga's a piece of shit. I'm going to fuck with this white boy. Because at least the white boy going to pay you something, but you selling your soul at the same time. Just like the black man is. But the difference is he's really looking for love. What are you looking for, black woman? It ain't love because a lot of these niggas love you. It ain't that. So once I think she figured that out, she figured out that she is humanity. That's why the prophet in the picture is holding her by the water, because she is humanity that we supposed to be uplifting. We supposed to be resuscitating her so she can help us produce better people the real way, the natural way, through natural law. But now these niggas is telling you that the way to this is through commercial value. And you believe it. You give them hits. You putting them in position. You doing it, not me. I don't listen to no one. I don't do none of that shit. All the shit I listen to is old shit. Because that's the only shit that's real. It's very few new songs or new things that come out that I be like, oh, that's dope. But usually what make it dope is it remind me of some old shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I like ignorant shit. I like certain, like real, like, gutter ignorant rap shit. Like, I listen to all of it. Because being a Moor means you all of it. But it means that you the nobility of your race. You the prime candidate to receive the celestial blessing of your race. And your race happens to be the same race as the creator of the known universe. And you wonder why niggas is hating. You can't get mad. You just got to do you. So as we wind it up, I just want to get everybody to support. And like I said, man, if there's 5 million people listening, everybody got $20. Send $20. Because you paying these other niggas. You paying these other niggas. And I don't just mean like people in the community. I'm talking about like these other niggas, like these people who's literally feeding off of you. You paying that landlord. You paying that, what you call it. I'm not going to tell you that I won't be able to pay you back. I'm going to keep it totally real with you. Because I'm trying to consecrate a temple. I'm trying to support my woman's endeavors. I'm trying to support my own. I'm trying to raise a baby. I'm trying to feed this dog I just got. Like, real shit. Like, I'm in real shit. But I also know that whatever I get and wherever we can provide and put the temple in a position, it's going to open it up for everybody. And as much as there's people hating, I got more love than hate. And I know that there's more people praying for us than praying against us. And those few people that are, that's actually good too. Because as a double Scorpio, I can pick up on that much quicker. You know what I'm saying? And that allows me to know who and what I need to get down to. Like I said, a lot of times people just be hating on you because you don't spend enough time with them. But I never thought of spending enough time with another man like that. You understand? You know what I'm saying? So I don't, that's not all, you know, brotherhood to me is not, you know, a bunch of us men always just building. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not always brotherhood because, you know, out of 10 niggas, there's going to be 2 of them niggas in there. It's just not going to like you. And you could be helping them doing everything. They're just not going to like you. You know what I'm saying? And etiquette of men is we don't deal with it until it's too late, until it's to the point where the nigga done some shit, we're going to have to take his head, you see? So, again, why let it get that far? Why does brotherhood have to be that? Brotherhood is whatever we say it is. Sisterhood is whatever we say it is. So long as we found the product of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality, there's nothing in the universe that's more profound than that. You can bring me any doctrine from any religion. Look, I done explain, get your little niece or nephew or your little son or your daughter, explain to them the whole Catholic religion. Then try to explain to them the Christian religion. Then try to explain to them more science in terms of the principles. Muslims and all of that. Then give them more science. You know which one they're going to grab to? More science. You know why? It's simple. I'm training my dog to this shit. You dig? It's simple. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality. That's an isonomy. I son, I mother. What else is there than that? Allah, Allah. I self-law and master. That's it. Wisdom, understanding, culture, freedom, power, refinement, equality, God, building, destroying, born cipher. That's it. What else is there than that? What else am I missing? You know what I'm saying? You know how niggas is like, oh, you narrow-minded. You only this. You know what I'm saying? People will create reasons to not just accept the obvious. You understand? And if you get into if you this person, then you need to work on yourself and get rid of that shit. And if you that person, don't send me no money because I don't even want your energy on something that's given to me to be able to benefit all of us in terms of helping consecrate the temple and everything else. 5 million people, $20, that's nothing. You understand? But people who take my classes can barely pay on time. You understand? But, again, let me have come up on some teacher people to, levitate or some other shit and then turn it into some, whatever, thing and then create a cult or whatever and tell you got to come up with $2,000 to do it. Look at Bikram. Look at Bikram and Bikram Yoga. This nigga stepping on women's backs, doing all types of crazy shit. My queen denounced him, chatted him down as Babylon and all of that years ago. All of them yoga people in Park Slope yoga Flatbush, Park Slope, that bullshit. Them people, right there on Fulton Street, if they're still there, whack people, fake Haitian dude. These people worship this nigga. Come up with all types of dough for this dude. He's sexually molesting, sexually assaulting women and all this other shit. But I already knew because most of the teachers that we knew at the time, all these niggas was addicts, covering addicts or some shit. Because it's just like the conscious community, it's a place for obsessive compulsive behaviors to hide. That's real. Niggas ain't going to do lectures on that, though. You understand? People ain't going to pay to see that. People ain't going to pay to stop doing that. So until they're ready to stop doing that, holla at your boy. Forward 20 bills to dukeoftears@gmail.com, and PayPal is nothing. And I'm telling you what I'm using it for. I'm putting it towards the consecration of this temple so we can get a brick and mortar building to act as an embassy and consulate. So everybody around the world who really want to act like they Moors and all of that, you really want to see it, you really think you're ready, holla at me. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect no other Moorish community or no other Moorish title or no other Grand Sheikh or whatever, because these niggas, because they deal in Freemasonry, they act like women, they wear aprons. So they feel like, they could, be emotional and have a feeling of how you interpret whatever the prophet did. But so long as you come in, again, and love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality, so long as you properly authoritative, and you have the right credentials to show and prove that, nobody can tell you nothing. Especially no more. And anybody else They already shut down from when you say, okay, well, what's your nationality? That's the end of any. That's the beginning and end of any real conversation you have with anybody when they get real. That's why they don't like you, because you've accepted who and what you really are. So anybody that has a copy of The Forgotten Cause of the Civil War, or anybody that wants to purchase one for me, you can do so, and you can mail it to MST of A, Temple 2A, box number 4783, Miami Beach, Florida, 33141, -9998, in parentheses. Or anything else, so long as it ain't a bomb, so long as it ain't no anthrax or nothing, then we good. And ain't nobody going to do that or send anything that to me anyway, because, again, man, we real Moors know who's really protecting who. That's what's really going down, too. That's what I'm learning, too. The niggas you think is the enemy sometimes ain't. And the niggas you think ain't the enemy sometimes is. That's the other side of this thing. Because they've all sworn an oath. They all Jesuits of the fourth batch, all Scottish Rite Masons. Scottish Rite was invented by Albert Pike and perfected through Aleister Crowley out of the Ordo Templar Orientalis, coming based upon the so-called amalgamated Moorish white magic practices of Godfrey de Bouillon and his understudy and lover, Hugh de Payon, Hugh of the pagans, because he would raise up pagans and have sex with them and stuff and put them in his armies. This is the basis of the Templar order. But the original Templars, the mystic order under Salah ad-Din, are the ones who built the Blue Mosque, not these white people that they tell you did. Part of the Masonic secret is that there is no real secret. The secret is that they never had it. That they reorient everything to create the God of the architect of the universe in their image. Which is why every symbol they use is a symbol of the Moors. The trowel, which is the pyramid. The square, right, which is the tesseract. 33 degree, which represents the 33 lumbar of the spine, of which the Caucasian can't allegedly get it because he don't have full pineal function due to the lack of melanin. Therefore, he's frozen at 32 degrees. Therefore, he receives an honorary 33rd degree, but is frozen at the 32nd, where the black man receives the honorary degree and is received under the mystic title noble and greeted with the ancient custom assalamu alaikum, of which he becomes under the jurisdiction of whatever noble's name is written at the top of the fez that's tacked down, because he is under the jurisdiction now of the Franciscan Moors, who are using him to further disassociate the Autochthon Moors of North Africa, a.k.a. North, Central, and South America. That's your story. Those that's with you and those that's working against you. They both look like you and they both don't. So like I said, in having a brick and mortar temple, we can take it out of just a sober thing and bring it back into reality. Like you do real things with us. Here's an assignment for everybody listening. Sit down and write the story of how you want the next 20 years to go for the temple and for the resurrecting the original people, and how you see that happening. But write it out in the most magnificent script you can write it out in. Watch how long it takes you. You're going to have to do it in sittings, but you do it until you finish it. Then when you finish it, Xerox it and then send it to me. And I'm going to keep that as an archive for the future that we put in the time capsule, that we commit at the groundbreaking of this temple. So the same way I'm saying it and you see it, that's not me projecting that to you. That's you seeing something that hasn't manifested yet, but that you see you contributed to in some way. How I'm asking you to do it is with $20 to ducateers@gmail.com. That's nothing. I spent over $5,000 on this thing. And they cut the show. You know how they do us. I'm surprised all of this is getting through. So that's why I'm wrapping it up. Like I said, this is bigger than me. This is bigger than anything else. However, with this show, we built it up enough energy where you've seen how much you have changed and how much they've had to alter the coding of the matrix to allow you to do you and to keep up with what you know about it. They almost got to create movies off the fly now that's encompassing what you already building on. The next class we're going to do this Wednesday is going to be real heavy. So I don't think it's for everybody, you know what I'm saying? And it deals with a little bit of fiction, so I know how that is with people. They don't understand what fiction really is and what that actually contributes to real life and how much of it is real life. They don't really let you know that. So this class is about that. So anybody wants to get in on that, email me at houseofl@hotmail.com. Like I said, that's why, inshallah, we keep everything as affordable as possible, because I'm not, again, striving to do this, again, just for the sake of doing this or averting or gaining your information and use it. That's what other people is doing. I'm not doing that because I'm not known for that. You dig? So, like I said, check out www.blackmambaworkouts.com. Definitely support the homie. Definitely check out the blog and spread it and share it. You know what I'm saying? The only way we're going to be able to be represented in the mainstream is to have the community put us there. So the same way you help put these other lame niggas up there, you can help do that for the real squad, because there's a lot of people that's really doing real work and need support. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a lot. And we got to support them. So you know, if I'm in a position that's really going to make, we really going to make something happen. So inshallah, let's do that. So again, you can check out www.blackmambaworkouts.com, www.cookingmorewithless.com, www.aseerducateers.com, www.talkskullfoyateen.com for the world's most dangerous comic book novel. And yeah, you can check me out on Twitter at Ducateers, and you can check out Selena at Cordova L. And that's that, man. Again, look out. $20 would be great, but whatever you can would be awesome. But specifically that, if there's 5 million people, even 100 people, that's going to help put another brick into the building. So let's make this happen. Peace.